Spiritual growth is largely a matter of listening, putting things together as you hear them, as you come across them, realizing that if you are getting the same message, there's no such thing as coincidence. If the universe brings you a message on social media and you watch a video or see a meme that hits you, that means something to you, and then later on that day or that week, friends bring us up the same subject, or you see it again on TV, it's realizing that these things are not coincidences. The universe is trying to tell you something. So for me, what the universe has been telling me for a while now is to live more pagan, live more spiritual, have it be a meaningful and essential part of my daily life. A lot of people, including myself, say, "Oh, I'm spiritual, but not religious." What does that mean? We're fond in America of talking about things in the negative of what they're not. I'm not religious. But what is being spiritual? And when you dig down to, a lot of people think or will say, if they're pressed, that means that they care about the environment. They care about other people. They recycle. Maybe they shop at Whole Foods or Trader Joe's. They vote according to their personal ethics. But spirituality is an action. It is a state of being. But think about physical fitness. These things go together. A physical fitness is a state of being of good health, of being physically flexible, powerful, strong, endurance. But you have this state of being of physical health because of activities that you regularly engage in that give you that benefit of spiritual health, of physical health. And spirituality is very much the same way. If you're not doing anything regularly in your day-to-day life that is spiritual, then how are you developing the state of being spiritual? And so what the hell I'm doing right now is there's been several messages in my life this week that have directed me, if you will. To create shrines in nature. It's a culmination of podcasts that I've listened to, books I've read, and personal conversations, and listening to the spirits and the ancestors while you pray and meditate and just go about your daily life. They are always talking to you. You just have to learn how to listen. And it is very obvious that I've never done this before and that I have no idea what I'm doing. And I'm sharing that vulnerability with you on purpose. Because I would imagine that very few of us have ever built a shrine. And I come from a Christian tradition, even though I've been pagan now for longer than I was a Christian. But the difference is that Christians do things at their spirituality. Pagans mostly don't. And if you're not paying attention, we're in a spiritual war. It's pretty obvious by everything that's going around us. You know, witches, wizards, sorcerers, magicians of old. We talk about signs, omens, and I think it's pretty goddamn obvious that there are signs and omens everywhere, every day, all around us. Not only is weird shit happening, and has been happening for quite a while, so much weird shit that people think, hey, maybe we're in a alternate reality. Maybe we all actually died a few years ago. Maybe the super collider opened up a gateway to another dimension. Maybe it's aliens, maybe it's Cthulhu. There's all kinds of shit going on. But if you listen to the signs, the stars, the ancestors, the spirits, we're just in a time of choice. What is our future going to be, individually and collectively? Who are you going to be? Are you happy with who you are? Are you happy with the society that you live in? Are you happy with the way life is? Are you happy with the reality that we exist in? Are you satisfied? Is this right? Is this just? Is this the way things should be? And if you think it is, well, you're probably not going to get much out of this podcast if you think it is. Now, there are many ways to stand up for what's right. And I hold no ill will towards those who get angry. There's a lot to be angry about. Towards those who yell, lift up their voice, protest, disagree, disobey, there are right places for all of those things and much more. I've done a lot of those things myself throughout my life. I've been a minister, I've been a soldier, I've worked for nonprofits, I've volunteered, I've protested. I always felt like I was, it's the first day of Pisces season, right? There's gonna be tears. Big feelings. I always felt like I was throwing pebbles into the river, where the river is injustice. And all the different things that I did to try to make the world a better place just got washed away. And so I stopped and I pondered, and I've been pondering for years, of what is the best way to affect change, to change the course of the United States of America, the destruction that we are heading towards, and the fate of the world. What can I do to help? And after many years, I received the answer is to teach and to grow. In order for this to change, we have to start caring. America, individual Americans, enough Americans need to come to the reality that we live in a spiritual world, that we're living spiritual lives, that when we pollute, when we harm each other, when we harm the animal friends and the plant friends and the earth friends and the sky friends and the water friends, we are harming ourselves. It's only a spiritual understanding of the way that the universe really is and what life really is that I right now am surrounded by spirits. My ancestors are always with me. My spirit helpers are always with me. And the spirits of this place. And every place you go to, there are spirits. It's only by re-spiritualizing America, which has not been spiritual since it's been America, that we can start caring again. And stop harming. Well, there we go. So I've been told that, I was reading Sacred Medicine, and the author, I believe, she was in Sri Lanka, and an elder told her to go visit all these shrines of goddesses. Gave her a list and said that when she gets back into America, she should do the same thing. And she said there are no shrines in America, and he said, build them. And that was just a book, but then I got the same message through a class I'm taking, through a podcast I listened to, through a conversation with a partner. I've got this message multiple times. just this week. So let me talk about the creation of the altar for our new shrine. A lot of people say when you come out into nature that you should leave it as it is. Leave only footprints and take only memories. That's actually a very racist way of looking at nature. If you look at the founding of the national parks, they were created by kicking out all the First Nations people who were caretakers of the land. And the creation of national parks, leaving nature alone and never intervening, has actually severely harmed these places. And now that we are beginning to come into right relation, and understand that our role in nature is as caretakers, as gardeners, as game wardens, park rangers. That's our role. The extreme liberal viewpoint that nature would be better off without us is not true. The earth evolved us to take care of it. We are children of the earth. One of the big problems of Christianity, the dominant religion in America, is it teaches us that we are not of this earth. So it creates this attitude that don't care, it doesn't matter. And that allows us to do horrible things to the earth and to each other. And there are plenty of people, there's the liberal mindset that it looks at the way we're doing things and says that's not right. And correct, that is not right. Nothing that we do is right. However, without a context and a background of spirituality, we jump to solutions that are not correct ones. So we say, okay, we're damaging the planet. The solution is, let's stop damaging the planet. Leave it alone. Don't touch it. No touchy. Don't move the rocks. Don't do anything. Don't touch anything. Nature is better off as it is. That's not true. We are here. Think about if you have a Christian background, as most of us do. We are in the Garden of Eden, and God placed Adam there to name things, to take care of things. Every wisdom tradition that you look at says the same thing. We are here to maintain balance. Now, there's a lot of roles in that. We need geologists. We need, over the course of the next couple hundred years, we need to tear down the dams and, do a million things. It needs environmentalists, it needs physicists, it needs engineers to undo the damage we have done and to make the earth a garden again. But I'm a magician, and my role is to keep the balance between the spirit world. And there's a lot of us. Have you wondered why is there an explosion of witches and shamans and spiritual teachers now? Because we are in a spiritual crisis. We are in a spiritual war. Everything that you're seeing is an emanation of the spirit world, and this battle that we are in is taking place in the spiritual realm. It is a war against our souls and literally against our future is at stake as a people. And, we're not going to destroy the earth. That's not possible. The earth evolved us. We are mothers. We are children of the earth, but there could be another ice age. We could be, wipe out 90% of us. The earth needs us, but if we're going to be knuckleheads and we're not going to listen, bad things will happen. It's only a matter of time. So doing this and coming into community with each other, with the community of our plant siblings and our stone siblings and our earth siblings, the spirits of this place. And let me tell you, I'm not speaking metaphysically. I'm not speaking theoretically. For a long time, I thought spirits were a psychological construct because of the material philosophy that we are all raised with, that, our ancestors were idiots and they were superstitious and they believed that there were spirits everywhere. And our ancestors were wise. Just because they didn't have cell phones and the internet, they also didn't fuck up the planet in less than a couple hundred years. They lived in relation to the earth for tens of thousands of years before we decided to stop listening to the spirits. We decided that they didn't exist. And so a big part of getting back into right relation with this planet, with each other, is getting back into communication, community with the spirits. Therefore, I want you, every pagan, every spiritual person who is listening to this, to start living spiritually, to meditate every day, to pray to your ancestors frequently, to bless your food, to live in gratitude for what you have been given. And I want you to spend time in nature once a week. Whether you live in an apartment and you can go out on the lawn or in your little back porch, at least you're outside in the air. Take off your shoes. Go to a park. If you are able to, like I am, go out into the wilderness. Take off your shoes. Ground yourself. Find a place where you feel spiritual. I have been here many, many, many times. I have meditated here many times. I feel spiritual. I feel at peace in this place. And so this is where I'm choosing to build my first shrine. If you go to a place like Thailand, there's shrines and temples everywhere. We need to start re-spiritualizing America. Oh, people are going to think you're weird. It's time to be weird. It's time to fucking be weird. Weirdness is what's going to save us. As far as constructing the altar, I don't know what I'm doing. And I will readily admit that. But I do know something about how to give offerings. It looks like that's a lost cause, so we'll forget about that. But incense you can buy in cones that don't really need a holder. You also have joss sticks, which are pretty inexpensive. You don't have to spend a lot of money to be a pagan, and I brought these joss sticks have little mobile holders, or you could just stick them in the ground. I thought I brought one with me. Just real quick, because a lot of pagans, since I'm encouraging you to get outside in nature, I'm not very far away from civilization, but I do spend a lot of time outside, and even though I am an outdoorsy person, I have also almost died. A lot of pagans have this hippy dippy, oh, nature loves us. Nature is nature. Nature is dangerous. It is lovely. It's a wonderful day. But life and death and danger is all part of nature. So I have my first aid kit. I have a map and compass and all that, and I have food, and this is for a half-hour hike. I never go anywhere without that, and water, of course. So if you're going to, and I'm 15 minutes away from my car. It doesn't matter. If you're gonna spend out time outside in nature and you don't know what you're doing, then be prepared. Take a small first aid kit. Take a snack bar and some water. Take your cell phone. Like don't go wandering off into the wilderness without build experience slowly. Don't go off wandering off in the wilderness without other people, without knowing what you're doing. So when we talk about sacrifice offerings to okay, so let me interrupt myself. What are we making offering to? I'm not going to make an offering to my God. The First Nations people who owned this land, and I'm just again going to interrupt myself. I have ADHD, so I interrupt myself a lot. I'm no longer going to wait for the United States government to do the right thing. Don't know if that's ever going to happen in my lifetime. And as a member of my tribe, I apologize. There's a lot to apologize for. And just naming the things to apologize for could take the rest of the podcast, so I'm just going to leave it at that. I apologize. But white people destroyed everybody's spiritual traditions, and we destroyed our own. And so we can look at Christianity, Christianity is paganism. They just kicked us out and just worshipped one God instead of many. But pagans didn't always worship in the forest. We had the churches, we had the temples. Those were our temples. Everything you want to know what ancient paganism looked like, go to a Catholic church. Everything about it, the robes, the incense, the everything. Magic is deep in all forms of Christianity. It's just that they deny the existence of magic, usually, or they say it's evil while they themselves are doing magic. We pagans have this idea in our head that we have to go out into the wilderness in order to worship because we got kicked out of the churches and persecuted and hunted down for 1,000 years. So now we have this idea in our head that we cannot organize, we cannot have churches, we cannot have temples, we have to go out into the wilderness. And I say fuck that. But also we need to do both. Yes, we need to be in right relation to the spirits of the land, and that's part of what this is. But build a shrine in your yard. Get together with pagans online, or and if you can in your community. Don't think about starting a coven. Just get together and give thanks and celebrate the Sabbaths and be fucking pagan. Sing, dance, eat, drink, and be married. Fuck. Celebration of life, a wild celebration of life, is what it means to be pagan. And we are the ones who are supposed to be doing this. This is what we're supposed to do. We're not just supposed to be pagan and, wear our amulets and have our tattoos and walk around thinking we're better than everybody else. This is what we're supposed to do. Offerings of fresh fruit. I don't have a farmer's market in my area. I do. It's only open one day a week. I live in a small town in the desert, so, you get Walmart fruit, water, incense that keeps going out. Um, and just prayer, your own energy, music, motion, noise, do ritual. We don't know what we're doing. We need to stop pretending like we do. Paganism is neo-paganism. We have very little idea of what our ancestors did, and we have destroyed the spiritual traditions of our own ancestors and millions of other people around the world. But it is necessary that we re-spiritualize ourselves. And so if you fucking have to make it up, make it up. But at the same time, admit that you're making it up. Don't try to say, "Oh, I'm the ancient tradition of my," like, no, this is, I'm winging it. Okay, wing it. And the as we open up community, the spirits around us, our ancestors, the nature spirits, will teach us. That's why there's different traditions all around the world. That there are certain foundational, some things are the same. That's like spiritual physics. That's the way magic works. It is when you see something that is the same across the whole world, but saying, "Oh, in this place you give this offering, and in this place you do this," that's the spirits of the land, the spirits of the ancestors teaching you. So we just need to, all across America, open up the conversation, and it will look slowly over time. It'll look differently in different places of the country, but we just need to start. We just need to pick up the phone and call. That's what I'm doing here. Okay. As far as the names, what I was saying, interrupted myself, ADHD. A lot of times when you look at place names, the first people's, the things that are named is that is the spirit of the place, like Ohio River. That is the name of the spirit that is that river. So sometimes we can, in the places where the place name still exists, but white people, that's one thing. Part of colonization is changing the names of everything. So a lot of times we don't know. I would say in most of the country we don't know. So again, I'm just offering to the spirits of this place. I don't know who they are yet. Maybe I'll find out over time. Maybe I won't. So I'm going to stop talking about it, and I'm going to do it. But before I do that, I'm going to take a minute to bless the water. Spirit of the sun, come into me and through me into this water. I give thanks for it. This water that has come from afar to be a part of my life, a part of this ceremony. But this water has traveled a long journey. Please bring it peace, bring it love. Water, thank you for being a part of this. I bless this food. I thank you for your journey. I thank you for your sacrifice. I am grateful for the part you are playing in my life and in this ceremony. Thank you. Now, we bless the food. And then whether we partake of it or not, or we are giving that along to other people, or we are giving it to the ancestors and to the spirits, that blessing is being passed along to them. And that is meaningful. That you are doing something. You are passing energy. It has an effect. Ancestors, be with me. Oh, spirits of this place, be with me. I offer offerings of incense. I offer offerings of food. I offer water. Spirits, be with me and know that I love you. Spirits, be with me and know that I love you. Spirits, be with me and know that I love you. understand that I'm largely following intuition. I know something about the proper offerings to give, and the place is someplace that I have a spiritual connection to, but the words I'm saying, I'm just saying. I'm not thinking, I'm just doing. And it is Pisces season, so the big feelings and the tears are to be expected. It's actually the first day, the new moon of Pisces season, so this emotion is just part of it, but you know, where you are and when you are, you're going to have a different experience. But do it. Do it. Do this. Do a version of this wherever you are. It doesn't have to be like when I said I come from a Christian tradition, the 12 stones is what the Bible talks about that. Oh, that's Christian. The Bible's pagan as fuck. Everybody in the Bible was pagan. Just do it. Just fucking do it, please. I love you, and blessed be.